darlings, and it's just getting more and more all right all the doggone time as our heart unfolds its wings and begins to take flight. Yeah, that's right, man. We're getting high because we know why. We gotta fly so we can get up way up high there and find that Spring Crick, that Headwaters of Life. Well, guess what, babies? You just did that right there while you were singing about how all right it is right now after you fought so hard for your right to party. Oh, goodness, I tell you what. It's so tragic at times in this life, this fighting for your right to party. I gotta tell you, I was about 30 years old, and in my prime. I mean, this was like, 2 or 3 years ago, And son of a gun, I'm doing a little hang gliding, and I've got, a love affair going on with this mountain that the energies up there really hate my guts, but I still get to fly it anyway, But on my way up, I run into these carload of girls, man, Young ladies, out prowling around. There's a lake around the corner down there. It's a beautiful place to be in. And, I find out we're all going to a party that night round the mountain from where I'm flying, man. So like, wow, okay, baby. Well, you know what happened. After we parted our ways and I went up to climb up the mountain there to go take off in my hanging gliders, well, when I came down, I came down a little hard, and I wound up in the hospital for a few days, yeah. And man, that party probably lasted about 3 days by the time I was in the hospital there, man. Shucky duckies. But I wasn't doing too bad, though. I had a broken arm and all that. Broken shoulder it was. Oh, man. Oh. Ooh, I'm glad it came back together really simply and I didn't have to have no surgery. I tell you, it was amazing the way things worked out there. But I I had the nicest nurses, and they were keeping me high, and, she whiz. If you got to have a tragedy, you might as well be triumphant like that, I'm telling you, man. It wasn't bad, but I don't know if it was worth missing a party like that. But guess what? If I'd have gone to that party, heck, who knows where I might have been, I was really subject to the wiles of women back in those days, man, A little girlie could lead me around by my nose so easily. Well, gosh, they still do it, don't they? Oh, well, sometimes it's worth it, man. And, I kind of enjoy it at times. So, who knows what might have happened, but what did happen was we had a party at the hospital instead of down on the beach there at that little lake out there. I mean, it's out there in the middle of God's green nowhere where the county sheriffs didn't even know it existed. They were having a kegger. It was going to go on for like 3 days, lots of music and shit. Oh, man, I tell you, I was like, oh. But, life has its flow and direction. And I've found that any time I get derailed like that, I can remember another time there was this young lady. This is a number of years ago, too. But, I was in a really weird situation in my life, and things were a little upsetting. This one young lady offered to ride me away into the sunset forever and ever. Amen. You know what I mean? Hallelujah. Glory past the butter and all that. Oh, man, I tell you what, tragedy hit, and just the next day I was gone. I couldn't even be close. So even if I'd have wanted to, I had no choice. And my heart made the choice for me. Bam, no, you're not going there. Just like it did for some reason to keep me away from that big old kegger because, times were pretty wild back then. That's like the early part of the 70s, later part of the 60s. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Wasn't it? Let's see, you take 47 and you add 30, you get 77. So that's middle 70s, ain't it? Yeah, okay. 77 going on. 70s. I remember now. Oh, yeah. And you know what? I got two moments mixed up. It's funny, because when the years go by, your experiences kind of meld. So I just melded two experiences into one time. Because I just remember in the year, it was New Year's Day in 77 to 78, New Year's Day 78, that I had that accident, that I wrecked my hang glider there. I got stuck in it's a long story. I'll tell it to you again sometime. But, and the party thing wasn't, that's so cold that time of year. There ain't nobody partying over on them beaches then. Nobody. So, that must have been in the summer. I wonder why I never got over to that party, man, Because it was when the weather was warmer. I'd been flying that mountain for a while before I wrecked out there. And I just wrecked because I wasn't gifted enough. I made a mistake. And I lost some altitude when I didn't need to. And then when I realized what was happening, I straightened out, and there I was downwind. You know, and not against the wind, but down the wind, you know, which wasn't real strong, but is enough to keep you whipping along and not give you much. I mean, you got to keep some speed up or you're going to stall and fall right out of the sky. You know what I mean? Pretty critical when you're getting towards ground effect like that. I'm like 25 feet of the ground, and there it is coming up at me like, 35 miles an hour, because I got to keep that speed up and then bleed it off at the last sec, Well, because of the downwind effect, when I went to bleed it off, well, it didn't bleed off, And besides that, there was this canal bank, all frozen and hard, and in this canal about, 12, 15 feet wide. Not a little wider than that, but anyway, and then another bank, and then a frickin' barbed wire fence, but it was like many wires, not just 3 or 5 wires. It was like 16 wires, because they keep sheep in there every now and then, I guess. I don't know anyway. Had a lot of damn wires on it for some reason or another. And man, I did not want to hit that going no 35 mile an hour, not even feet first, you know what I mean? I might have, and I wasn't sure I could get over it, even at that speed, because of the downwind effect, And as you're getting closer to the ground, you're losing the wind. It's really strange effects, man, You got to really be on top of your game. If I'd had a little motor on that thing, I could have cranked it up when I realized what was happening, got out of there, done a go-round like they do in airplanes. But no, when you're in the hang glider, man, you get one shot at it, baby. You better make it good. So I did my best, but I did plow into that canal bank pretty hard, man, because the bleed-off wouldn't bleed off, because I saw that fence and I thought it was better to get hit on a canal bank, as hard as that might be, than it would be to hit into that fence and get chopped into little pieces. You know what I mean? That would have been the death of me for sure, So I hit that canal bank, and that bounced me pretty hard into that canal. So I'm in the canal nose first and the nose down in the hang glider, but I'm still hanging there in the harness in the middle of everything. My control bars are bent, but I'm still up above the water. There's only like 6 inches of water. I know my arm's broke because it's not where it's supposed to be. Your mind knows, and I knew I had a busted arm. And I was taking inventory on the rest of me, to see what else might be broke. That's all I could find. But as I'm doing that, this voice comes to me. It's pretty quiet out there. I mean, it's January 1. It's probably 23 degrees there in the fog. I mean, not fog, but what do you call that? Mist, a light mist. I mean, not so much you couldn't fly. I mean, visibility was like 3-5 miles. I mean, it was good. But it's cold, colder than hell. I'm equipped for it, but hanging there anyway, injured in a canal. And this voice comes just out of nowhere. I mean, it was loud, too. At least I heard it loud like. It might have been from inside of me, but it sure sounded like it was all around me. My little wrecked old hang glider. By the way, the wings were still above me, too. They were still intact. I couldn't believe it, man. We really got away with something there. Angels were with us even then. So the voice says, Peter, the next time it's your life. And it just said it once. And then next thing you know, my buddy's there, and without thinking, he's grabbing hold of the king post on my hang glider and pulling it up from the nose down position, not realizing I'm hanging there above the water, I'm injured. And so when he does that, it kind of hurt. I let out a little bit of a howl, but wasn't much I could do about it. And, at least he was trying to save my life, Thank goodness they were there watching me come down, huh? But I can't imagine, that was, like I said, January 1 in 1978. I just turned 30 years old a couple of 3 weeks before that. You know what I mean? Just in my prime. And here I'm going to be laid up for 3 months now. Oh, and I got hooked on those painkillers. Because I didn't know enough not to take those darn things, even though I didn't always need them. I liked the high, I was being stupid. And boy, stupid is as stupid does, and it caught up with me, and I started having spasms and shit in the middle of the night till I'd take another one of those pills, and then I'd feel all right. About 3 days later, I figured out I was, hooked. I didn't know what that was, so I had to let that stuff go. Being the trainee pope that I was, Pope of Pot, that is, Pope Mary Jane as I call myself these days, But being that trainee pope back in those days, well, I was the pope then too. It just wasn't so declared because it was illegal and stuff. You know what I mean? But I was coming around. It was okay, and Mary was there to help me along the way. And, you know, when you get right down to the heart of the matter, none of that really matters, man. You know, you done what you did. You know, you got addicted. You know what that is now, don't you? Thank God you're not putting needles in your arm. Never have. I first saw that when I was 14. People with heroin putting needles in their arms. That's pretty rare in Utah, let me tell you. But it was there. I saw it, man. You know, I just, you know, right then and there, I said, no, not ever. You know, and I never have. You know, I had good friends that did. You know, and it was a pretty accepted thing there for a while. Even though you go to prison for 20 years, and you got caught shooting up or something, man. Shit, you guys are crazy. You know. But Mary Jane, man, she's always there to help you along the way, you know. And so she did. She helped me get out of that addiction. I don't know if she'd have helped me with the H or not, and thank goodness I didn't need to learn that one. But this was bad enough, you know. Just these painkillers, you know. And that's so I can kind of relate to what's going on in this world now. I got a number of friends, close associates and others that are hooked on these doggone pain pills, you know. And it makes their behavior as silly as mine was back in those days, you know. Everything gets exaggerated, you know. And I've never quite, I mean, you know, I know what I did. Like I said, I threw that shit away when I realized what was happening. And I think I caught it early enough that the addiction wasn't fixed in my reality that hard. I would have, you know, occasional flashbacks to it even years later, but I never, you know, I've been able to take painkillers since then and not, you know, gone the addicted route. So I think I've done all right, and I think Mary Jane really helped me out there. I bought a brick from a buddy of mine, 2 pounds, you know, 2.2 pounds, you know. Man, that's how I got off of the, and I had this great big old fat hickory pipe I smoked. I mean, it would hold a lid, which is like about 1.5 ounces back in those days. You smoke that thing, man, 20 minutes, a half hour, you're all conked out. No, you're flying, but you're flying high, too, man. That's like Mexican dirtweed back in those days, you know, that the CIA was important for us. This wasn't CIA. This was a friend of mine. I knew where it came from, man. Well, it might have been the CIA on the other side of the border, who knows. But on this side, I knew who the people was. They were cool as all get out, man. Shit. Everybody is really... Most everybody back in those days, it wasn't such a business then. It was more of a brotherhood, you know. Of course, they made a lot of money, but it was more of a brotherhood. But, you know, then in the 70s, the guns started coming out. The money got too big, you know what I mean? Billions and billions of dollars in one little patch of pot because they could grow hundreds of acres out there in the mountains in the Northwest and shit like that, you know what I mean? Bankers were getting fried, you know. I mean, they were financing crops and stuff. It's crazy shit, man. I'm telling you, you know. I'm glad it's going legit because when it's illegit, it gets nuts. You know, the corruption comes in big time and all of a sudden everybody is Al Capone and, you know, Dan the Deadly, you know, that wants to, you know, put death traps around his patch, keep you from going in there and stealing nugs and shit, you know. Crazy stuff. Just crazy. But see, there was an energy with that Mary Jane, that, you know, for those of us that were of that energy field, I don't know how to describe it, Vibe Tribe, Return of the Bird Tribe, you know, whatever you want to call it. Those of us that realized we were a little more open and a little more honest and a little more decent inside. Now, I didn't mean we did any better than anybody else in this life, but inside we really felt more that way, and we're more sensitive in the life and therefore could catch things before others would, you know what I mean? So we'd have a lot of harsh experience because we could process it, you know. That coming down hard in my hang glider, well, that probably saved my life too, so that's probably why the missing the party metaphor came up. But I don't know what made me miss that party in the summer. That would have been a fun one, man. Sometimes, you know, you got other obligations. Can't believe it in those days that I would ever miss a party for an obligation. Hell no, man. I was a kid. I go party, man. I didn't have to fight for my right. I just did it, you know. Sometimes I'd take a year off and not work and just let the bills go and party until we just, you know, we couldn't eat anymore, and then I'd go to work. You know, it's kind of like a hippie way, man. And you try to live communally during those times you were off and partying, and by golly, if you didn't get away with a lot of it, But we never really got the commune going on the way we wanted to, not ever. But boy, we sure made some good starts here and there, I'll tell you guys, and had a great life because of it, So I never let this bullshit get me down, missing parties or busting myself up a little bit. Oh, God, like lately, man, busting up with that stuff that caused me to have surgery. Jeez, oh, weasel, man. I sure allow myself to get bebopped around a bit in this life. I know probably you have too, but you see, I don't regret it. I wish to heck that I'd never had to go through such stuff, but I did, and therefore I bless it, and get on with my life. How about you? You ready to get to that place, the Headwaters, that Spring Crick, where it all starts to dawn on you? You start to realize that no matter what it was, in a way it's kind of worth it. And you don't have to live that way any longer. There's the freedom right there. See, everybody in this reality, because of the invasion we talked about a while ago, everybody's been enslaved here, without exception. From the tiniest child in the jungle tribes to the highest, mightiest of the banker clan and all the rest of that shit. Capitalist everyone, man, Who gives a flying doo-doo? These are roles. This is 3D. This is through the lens of a filmic, cinematic experience, man. A soap opera, I call it. And our audience is the rest of the universe, not just the solar system, but the universe. And other quadrants of other universes, too. We're like joined together with all of life, because when it comes right down to it, being human is pretty damn spectacular. You don't believe me? Ask any ET, man, when you see him on the street. Say, hey, why do you think being human is so spectacular? And they'll say, well, I don't know why, but it is. Because you guys get away with everything we can't even think of, And poor guys, they're so retarded. They're so brilliant. They're so retarded. They don't have the rounded out way. They just got a specialty, And it makes them good at what they are, but nothing else. They don't get out and get the experience in the other realms. I'm talking in general terms. There are variations of this all over creation. So, the real slavery's right here inside, which is restriction that won't let us see, and therefore thinks we have to be something other than what we truthfully are, which is as our heart would dictate and have it. It's far more than that little flush you get when you see somebody that's interested in appealing to you. Things like that. It's far more than that. It's a recognition of your feeling, living in everything around you and everyone too, It takes a bit of expanding to do this, because we've already conceived of the singularity. We know that's real. To live it, it's a deal, man. That's why we're here at Spring Crick. Because the only way I know of to live it is go right back to the beginning of it. Because that's where it starts. After that, all the experience is purified. If we get back to the beginning, then we got the clear view. And the experience we call time, well, we can value that, but it's over with. Because we've come back to our mother's love. The waters of life are rising out of the high mountains of love. The Mother Earth's thoughts. You understand? The memories, yes. Memories are so beautiful. Where is she? I need her now. No, I won't subject you to that. But baby, see, we're getting down to the heart of the matter here at Spring Crick. Because that's what it's all about. Origins and beginnings. From the beginning. Because each time we go to the beginning, it is from the beginning, and it changes everything. That's how we undo so-called these effects of time. We don't have to undo the time itself, because that's pretty much been a dreaming illusion. Yeah, kind of a sphere inside of a sphere, inside of an atmosphere, inside of a mothership, dear. And then a universe outside of that. So, see, what we're seeing in here is pretty damn small compared to what's real, which is pretty damn spectacular. But because it's all unified, it's just that big expansive donut that goes on forever, and we can be in any place, any part of it, because we come from the heart of it, man. Yeah, much more to go here at Spring Crick, don't you know? As these peaceful waters start to flow. Aren't you glad you tuned in? You've got this old grandpa shaking you, baking you, and helping you get on with it, kids. Wake and bake with Mary Jane, Gateway to Paradise. Pope Mary Jane at your service, also known as Grandpa Pedro Koyote. Ooh, I love that Paradise City on that Mary Jane mug. Ooh, antiquity now, babies. We no longer produce these. These are collectibles now. Probably got the handle broke off. Mine don't yet. I've only had this one out of the case for a little while. Salute all my compadres from the Coffee Mug of Love. Get your coffee mug over at thecoyoteclub.com. Coyotes with a K, club is too. And babies, while you're there, go to Dream Central and help us get some other dreams underway. And let's keep, rocking and rolling, strumming and strolling, and getting down to the basic heart of the matter, okay? That's what we're here for, baby. Well, and to have a great time while we're at it, because you can't get to the heart of the matter if you ain't partying, okay? It's as simple as that. That's why you have to fight for your right to party. But how do you fight for that? You hold parties where people don't expect it. And the time they find out the energy is so strong, they're part of it too, man. Everybody gets overwhelmed by the waves of love and partying. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? We're just only giving you a slight free sample here in this Spring Crick, man. One little sip, one little drink, fresh water. Ooh, the rest of it you can find and flow and glow and have so dang much fun, don't you know? I always want to add a little do-do-do to the end of that too, man. It's kind of an abrupt beginning right there, isn't it? How do you catch that sparrow? What do you do while you catch the sparrow? Did the sparrow ever catch you? Catch up to you, that is? Did you ever realize what's really going on here? Start to live this life a little prematurely in that multidimensional way, that way that understands some of the aspects of nature and the real magic involved there, the real love that regulates the life we're living in many different ways, on many different levels. Oh, baby. Yes, indeed. You're finding it today. Back to the original waters of life, the beginning of the mother love, the water pouring forth from the ground, and the higher places, yes, indeed, from the memories of love, the mothers of love, the well springs of life, man. Right there at the headwaters of love, Spring Crick. There's only one place like it, baby, and it's really near where you are, dear, 'cause it's right here inside. Oh, yeah, and there we created in the outside world, too, man. There's only one Spring Crick in the whole universe. In fact, in all universes, 'cause all universes spring forward from this little trickle of a creek. It comes boiling up out of the ground, encouraged to do so by the cacti that put some roots down, looking for that water, and man, it got found. Oh yeah, Mama says, oh baby, you tickled me into life. Let's rise up here, give some nourishment to this life, see what happens in this dry and high place, man. And perhaps down below they'll catch on, don't you know? And they got some medicine. They got that medicine in the flow, man, the flow of that wellspring of love coming forth in that water, man, clean and pure, like the naked baby of life, and just happy and glowing like the golden glow of life in that naked baby. Oh, baby, and you take a little sip of that, and you're renewed, you're made whole. It's the fountain of youth, don't you know? The going back to the organic, the beginning of everything, man, and it undoes it all, and only effect is left is, a love and orgasm, baby, that'll take you where you need to be. Oh, yeah, 'cause that's where you live, don't you see, at the center of that creative Now you know why Santa Claus says ho, 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 and you know why Spring Crick has to flow, 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 right here on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote, a whole bunch of angelic friends, and who all thank you for tuning in, 'cause wow, and how, look at those wings spreading all over this earth, man. Human angels, everyone. Oh my goodness, ain't this some divine fun? See, that's when you see everyone that way. When finally your own angel comes out to play, man. And then you don't know, forgiveness, what's that? We're just angels playing roles, babies. Now we're letting go. We get to be the real role that we are. The angelic love emotion. And boys, you don't think we like to boinkity-boink around. You better just think about boinkity-boinking a little more, because I think that's part of that grand old flow at the beginning of the Mother of Love. Way up there in them high desert mountains where that Spring Crick does flow. Here in Colorado, I don't know, might be Nevada too. Can't be Utah though, they're too uptight over there. Babies, they're just, man, like Oklahoma, they're waiting. I'm sorry, babies, there I go, getting out of the flow and being all judgmental, don't you know? We love Utah and Oklahoma too, and all the people in it, And babies, we make no judgments. We come out of that flow ourselves somehow or another, man. Got in this other stream that fulfills the divine dream. Somehow. I mean, if you want to be wise, you got to be young and stupid in order to be old and wise. And baby, I fulfilled that role pretty thoroughly. How about you? Isn't it nice to be getting back to the Headwaters of Love? I thought so, baby. You're getting clear here on Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote. The embers of your love, becoming the radionic love you're living in. Because you understand, it's all been angelic, man. It's okay. That's where the innocent flow in the waters of life, don't you know? Here on that ever clear Hazy Radio. HazyRadio.com. We got it on. Now, perhaps you might too.